Hello, good morning. It's Sherry. I just wanted to come on. I've got several things to tell you. First of all, if you're new to my channel, welcome. Basically, I have started making videos regarding my grief journey. I'm not a professional. This is just my journey. And if you're new here, I would invite you to go back and look at some of my earlier videos, particularly my grief journey number 1. My husband passed away in September of 2024, and I basically I tell what works for me, what hasn't worked for me, and that doesn't mean that it will work for you. I just tell what helped me, okay? And so not every day, every couple days when I make a video now, I just continue to tell you about my journey and things that are going on in my life. So if you like it, just give me a thumbs up, comment if you would like, or subscribe. You're definitely welcome here. This is a safe place, and I'm very honest. I tell whatever's going on in my life. So, and if you've been following me, welcome back. I appreciate it, and I just want to let you know what's going on today. Sorry, I moved around a little bit. On the last video, I told you about putting in a kitchen faucet, and I told you I was having all kind of trouble and that it had leaked and everything like that. Well, I want to let you know the good news. I'm done with that. I've done it. Basically, I had to go to Home Depot and get different fittings and whatnot. But basically, I know changing out a kitchen faucet should not be a major thing. But for me, it turned into a major thing because I had to change all the plumbing underneath the sink. Not all the drain pipes, but all the water shut-off valves. I had to change all the water connections. The one going to my dishwasher, all of that had to be replaced. Anyway, like I said, it's done. I did it correctly. It's not leaking. That was the main thing. I turned on the water going, oh please, oh please, oh please. And it's not leaking. Everything's great. And it's a good thing I got everything done. Because this weekend, and I just noticed when I put my head here, it looks like I have horns. I'm sorry. I just noticed that, and it was like, okay, that's kind of weird. I'm going to kind of move over so that, I want to move the camera so it doesn't line up perfect. I mean, that was just weird. Okay. Anyway, I got completely off track with that. I'm sorry. But what I started to say, I live in Texas, and a lot of people that aren't from Texas, they seem to think that we never get cold weather. Well, you would be wrong. Okay. Okay. I woke up this morning and it was like 28, something like that. But we have a bunch coming this weekend. That's why I'm so glad I got this water stuff done, because I can't be turning the water off. I have to be leaving it dripping for my pipes because this weekend, this Friday, they are calling for some sleet and ice, and it's supposed to snow Saturday and Sunday, and it's going to get down into the teens, and it's going to be like a 3-day event that it's that cold, that not warming up, not getting above freezing anyway. So, which is great, because now I can keep my water dripping in my pipes, because obviously when I'm doing that, the water's turned off. And anyway, so I'm glad it's done, and I feel better about that. I'm getting a phone call. I'm sorry. I send that phone call to voicemail. It was spam, I'm sure. Anyway, so So I wanted to tell you that though, that we got a cold snap coming. It's going to be cold, and anytime we have a cold snap, I get really scared. I'm talking bad cold snap in the teens. That's a bad one. Whenever it's like that, I get really scared for two reasons. And I don't know if anybody watching remembers this, but, and I can't even remember what year it was, I was going to tell you, but there was one winter, oh gosh, it's been several years back, but there was one winter where Texas froze. Okay? I mean, every bit of Texas was, had ice and snow, and and everybody in cold temperatures. And that was the winter that our electric grid failed. So everybody was with that. It was that cold, and we had no electricity. And that's when Ted Cruz jumped on his airplane and he went to the Caribbean or somewhere. He got the hell out of here. But literally, there were people that died in their house that froze to death. My house got, because I'm total electric. So when the electricity was off, I had no heat. And what mine was doing, they would say there was going to be rolling black that it would come on periodically. When it did come on, and this was 5 days of this. And when it did come on, I mean, it was not on long, maybe 15 minutes and right back off. That's not enough to even get your house warm when the temperatures were in the, teens and 20s. In fact, I'll tell you, I'm getting another call. It's the same call, but it's going back to voicemail. But anyway, the coldest it got, I remember this one morning. I woke up, I rolled over and looked at my phone. I wanted to see the temperature. It was -2. -2 in Texas. Like I said, I'm going to look that up, and I'm not right now, but you can look it up. You can Google it. You can Google when Google when Texas electric grid failed. And that's when it was. It was so cold that everybody was using all the electricity in that's another dumb reason. Texas has their own power grid. Everybody else, all over the country, they share electricity on power grids and whatever. We have our own. And it frickin' failed. So it makes me real nervous now. And not only because the temperatures are getting so much colder, but we've had so many houses be built here. And these things are doing that again. I moved. There they are. They're my horns. Anyway, I'm going to move that again. Something to make me laugh and giggle. But anyhow, whenever the temperatures get really bad again, I always freak out and worry about that. Because I remember that so well. And I remember that day that I woke up and it was -2. I remember saying, this is Texas. It's not supposed to be this cold. And knowing we had no electricity. And I was bundled up. I'm telling you, I had three pair of pants on, three shirts on. I had a coat on. I had a hat on. and I even was when I was in the bed, I had like, oh my God, probably like four or five blankets on top of me. But I remember that morning I looked over and it was -2, and I looked over and I told my husband this was obviously way before he passed, and I looked over and told him, I said, are we gonna die? And I was serious because it was cold, and the roads, that was another thing, couldn't go anywhere because the roads were there was a lot of ice and snow and everything, but anyway, it was just a bad, and it was such a traumatic memory that now, like I said, when it gets really cold, I get freaked out a little bit. But in fact, I'm fixing to go to Walmart and Walmart's going to be packed. That's, everybody, especially because everybody that's lived through that, they stock up when it's going to be bad weather. They stock up. But one thing I'm going to get is these little propane bottles, because I have a little propane heater, and it's my emergency heater. And it was funny when that happened. I ran out of propane because I did not prepare. But anyway, so anyway, pray for me that everything's going to be okay. Okay, my anxiety gets really high during that, but I'm sure everything's going to be fine. I'm sure. The thing that scares me the most is the electricity going off. That's the only thing that scares me the most. And it may not be that our whole power grid fails, but if ice, gets on the power lines, it can go down. But even if that happens, it won't be like I said last time, when that happened, God, I want to say about 4 years ago, but I could be wrong. I'd have to look it up to see exactly when it happened. And I don't want to stop this video to look it up. But anyway, because of that, if you live through it, you get a little bit anxious when we're going to have bad weather. Which the kids, of course, are all excited because it's going to snow. It's like a 80% chance of snow. So we're going to see some snow. We are. And that's okay. But this will be, it's just different now than it used to be, because now I have to do all the preparations. I have to make sure that everything's winterized and everything, everything like that. So it's different. But I'm ready. I'll accept getting those propane bottles. I have some, actually. I've got about, but I'm gonna try to be nice and prepared. But and the other thing I want to say, I had been talking about, and I may have already said this, I don't know. I've been talking about taking a trip in March on the bus going to North Carolina, and I've been talking about that. I have canceled that trip. And to be perfectly honest, the reason I canceled that trip was for financial reasons. I realized that it wouldn't be the best idea for me to take it right now. I could use that money for other things that I need to take care of. And so I did. As much as I enjoy vacations and everything, I realize I don't need to do that when I don't really have the money. So I'm going to put it off, and I'm going to probably go in September to the Grand Canyon instead. And so anyway, so I am not taking a vacation in March. But anyhow, now that I've told you everything about what's going on in my life, let me tell you a little bit regarding grief and how all of this affected me, okay? I'm sorry. My nose is itching. I think it's my allergies. The temperatures are changing, and because of that, it causes things in the air. But now on to my kitchen sink and everything. I want to tell you about that. When I was having trouble, and when I had leaks, and when nothing was working right, oh my goodness, I went down big time, and I cried, and I remember, I cried, and I was like, I can't do this. I just can't do this. And I got really, I was having bad thoughts. And I was thinking, I'm just going to move. I'm going to sell this place, and I'm going to get out of here where I don't have to do all these type of things. And I was giving up. I mean, it was just, but the thing is, I had the water off. I had to turn it back on. So I had to fix that. So, I mean, I had to have water. So I had my little cry fit, crying and freaking out. But it lasted about 10 minutes. It wasn't a really, and then I said, I've got to get in there and do it. And I did. And I fixed it correctly, and there's no leaks. And I'm going to tell you, I went from way down to once it was fixed and everything was okay to way up. So I've told you that my life kind of goes like this. I got to go in roller coasters. But that was I was down, and then the feeling of accomplishment was just so, oh my gosh, I've done it. I can do this. And so I definitely went up, and it was great. It was good. And I know that my husband was I guarantee you when it was all leaking and everything, he was probably looking down at me saying, "What are you doing? You need to hire somebody." Then when I fixed it, he was probably sitting there clapping and saying, good job, you did it. I knew you could do it." Well, anyway, then, oh, I'm so sorry about my nose. It's itching. It's these darn allergies. But anyway, got that done, and it made me feel really good. And so, and then I've had some sleep issues. I don't know, this happened last night. I just got very, very fearful as I was sleeping. I woke up screaming, and because I woke up screaming, then I was fearful. I don't really know what that was about. It was, something scared me, and then I was afraid to go back to sleep. And so just things like, basically then I just had to pray, God, please let me go to sleep. Please let me get some rest. Here lately, I don't know what things scare me that never used to. And I get fearful a lot. And I'm trying to overcome that. I'm working on that. But it's just a strange thing that little things scare me, and they didn't used to. So anyway, this I just recognize that with the sleeping, it does have something to do with the grief, because there's some nights I can go in there and go to sleep and everything's fine, and then there's some nights I go in there and lay there, look at the walls. And then there's some nights I go in there and lay there and just cry. And sometimes when I do cry, it's like it's my time to just let it all out. And so, and it's okay. Everything I just mentioned is okay. It's okay to not be okay. That's my saying. It's okay to not be okay. We have those moments. And sometimes in the still of the night, like when you're laying down going to sleep, sometimes it all hits you, and it's okay. The other thing I always say is grief never ends. It is a journey that is always changing. It always changes, but it never ends. But love never dies, and I know that. I know that I still love my husband. I know he still loves me, and I know we'll be together again someday. But I also know he's watching over me. He is. He's watching over me. And So anyway, um, try to think of something positive today that you've done or will be doing, or something positive about today. Um, that one for me was like, oh, what's positive today? Because I had to stop and think, wait a minute, because we're fixing to have all this. I guess the positive today is that I'm getting another call. You see, this is crazy. Another, and all every one of those calls were spam calls, different numbers. But anyway, what I started to say as far as positive, I guess I'll be positive that just that that I am off today, um, and I'm gonna go to Walmart and get prepared for this cold weather that's coming this weekend. So, but when you count your blessings, definitely do that as well. And you know, I've got a lot of blessings. I'm blessed that I fixed my kitchen faucet. I'm blessed that everything worked out. I'm blessed that I did finally got a good night's sleep last night. And, I could go on and on. I'm blessed that I'm in a nice warm home when it was 28 degrees this morning. So, I try to do that. I try to count my blessings because we all, it's so easy to focus on what we lost instead of focusing on what we have. So I try to do that, and I try to do that every day. I make a conscious decision to do that. But this video has gotten, I say this every time, this video has gotten longer than I intended it to, but my main purpose in this video is to say, I did it. I fixed all my plumbing and put in the kitchen faucet, and I'm happy. So anyway, y'all, everybody have a very, very blessed day. And like I said, if you want to comment, absolutely comment. I enjoy reading the comments. And or just give me a thumbs up. Let me know that you like the content. And but I will probably see you in a couple of days. So everybody have a blessed day. Bye-bye.